second workshop was conducted at the National Film Archive in Pune, because we realized that the National Film Archive, being a government body, has a huge amount of material, and we wanted to train the staff there with the best of techniques. And these are some of the images of the workshop. You can see how the photochemical training was happening, how to actually repair a negative or repair a film, which a lot of people are not aware of. That can you repair celluloid? Yes, you can. You can even replace the sprockets, because before you put scanning. And also one of the key things was photographic restoration, which we don't have, and we conducted that at the NFAI, which is, and how to preserve it. That's very important. Can we go to the next slide here? These were the batches. But look at the impact. Over these 2 years, we have introduced over 100 individuals to the best practices of film preservation and restoration. We've witnessed a change in the attitude of the film industry, as they are now becoming more conscious of preserving their film legacies. There's a change in the government policy with the start of the National Film Heritage Mission. But in the meantime, we wanted to build our own archives. And we started with our non-filmic archive. These are our archives. We have a growing collection of non-filmic archives, including scripts, posters, lobby cards, song booklets, photographic, and other memorabilia. We have an expert conservators who train and oversee our staff. We have developed our own cataloging system. And we are the custodians of several important archives, which you can see the list. We hold the archives of P.K. Nair, Kedar Sharma, A.R. Kardar, J.B.H. Wadia, Saeed Akhtar Mirza, Pran Saab. Pran Saab donated all his material to us, so we have his entire archive, and Kundan Shah. So these are the non-filmic, which is, I think, a very key and integral part of preservation. FHF has a growing collection of films in our vaults. We have 35 mm of some films of Mr. Benegal, Mandi. We have Mr. Bachchan, of course, was an ardent collector. It was a rule with him that everybody who did a film had to deposit one print, subtitle and non-subtitle, to him. So we have his entire collection. So we can do entire. He has A to Z, all his films. And he used to keep it in his house. And one day he just called me and he said, Shivendra, I want you to look after these films. So we have his entire collection. We have Govindji's collection. We have also the collections of Kumar Shahani, Vishal Bhardwaj, Kundan Shah, Oner, Chitra Palekar, and of course Sumitra ji and Sunil ji, both Sunil ji is here. We have one of the only people in India who can repair film. No one in India can repair if your celluloid is damaged. And no better example is set when we got the first ever film of Mogacho Ando. There was a filmmaker, a friend of mine, Roy, who just walked into my office with a film reel saying that it's a reel of the first Konkani film. And you can see some of the images, how badly it was damaged. This is how the state was. And we had to actually repair these. It's a kind of a restoration which we have to intake. And we put them under dehydration and rehydration treatment to actually repair these films. And believe me, all this is happening of my own cost. There is nobody supporting me. I've been doing this just on my own cost. And I appeal today, when I'm showing you these, that this is what Nair Saab did for 25 years, that when the government didn't have the money, he went relentlessly, and he was an inspiration. And that is why this is linked to that. That if I'm inspired and if I feel that I must save these films, it is because I have the ideology of P.K. Nair, because he only understood that every time he would call me and he would say, what have you saved? I remember Vinod is sitting here. Vinod wanted to offer him, Vinod, if you remember, Vinod said, can I do something for Mr. Nair? He's living in this one room. And Nair Saab said, can you restore these films? I said, that I don't know. I'll check with Vinod when I meet him. So we saved this film, and it was such a delight to the actress who was forgotten and living in Andheri, the first Konkani film actress. And when we showed her a little clip, I don't know whether we have a clip or we don't have a clip right now. Okay, but this is the image we were able to restore it to. And it was unbelievable that the people had never seen this film, and it was all lying in a terrible state. So we are able to restore this. We also conduct a unique program of workshop for children called Do You Speak Cinema that teaches them the evolution of cinema and its unique language. So in fact, I take them through, Iravati is here, who's my partner and colleague, and she's someone who's designed this entire workshop of the children, where we take them through different mediums of the evolution of cinema, including zoetropes and magic lanterns, and we create that and we make the children also make those things. So that's one of our key things. We've been conducting these workshops at schools, museums, and cultural institutions. We published our first book, which was in 2015, which is the first ever book on film preservation and restoration, essays by Scorsese and many other writers. Our future plan is of course, the big workshop at Chennai, because Kamal Hassan was very keen that we've conducted 2 workshops successfully in Pune and at in Bombay. The third one should happen in Chennai with the Tamil industry. And we got 2 big partners with us. One, of course, is Martin Scorsese, who's always there with us to support us, and the second is the Academy. The Academy is supporting us on this workshop, so our third major workshop will be to look into the industry down there, where we'll be working at the studios there. But the vision which Mr. Bachchan was talking about is what you're going to see. This is what we are working on, building this archive. And this is the plan of our future plan, which we hope that we will be able to do it. Saving our cinema heritage requires passion, commitment, and funding. We require the support of the film industry as well as the corporates and the public to support this neglected cause and help us save India's legacy for posterity. So thank you. Thank you for patience. I would like to now invite Shri Shyam Benegal, Shri Naseeruddin Shah, and Shri Vinod Chopra to please come onto the stage. One chair. I would request Shri Shyam Benegal to say a few words.
Good evening. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Shivendra, of course, has been with his Film Heritage Foundation doing exceptional work. But before that, I think, I always used to think of 2 people as being quite extraordinary in terms of cinema. One was Henri Langlois, who created the Cinémathèque in France. And he was quite an extraordinary figure because I think he collected more films than anybody else. And so the entire kind of world cinema he put together, particularly between the 2 wars, the First and Second World War, and of course lost about 3/4 of those films to the Nazi occupiers in France, and started working on it after the Second World War until he died. And today, Cinémathèque Française continues to be an extraordinary archive of cinema. And like him, P.K. Nair, did exactly the same in India. Because, I cannot believe that here is P.K. Nair, who collected over 10,000 films singly, entirely by himself, and created a record of the entire history of Indian cinema. Now, this is, extraordinary work when you think of it, because when you think of films, individual films, films actually are an extraordinary record, frozen in time of a particular time in our history, and it tells you everything much more than a book would tell you or a photograph would tell you, because here you see everything as living images in time. And this particular kind of recording of our history is something that is unbelievable, and we in the 21st century enjoy this. And we enjoy this largely because, particularly, if you think in terms of India, it's because of a person like Nair, P.K. Nair. If you really want to experience what early 20th century was like, you simply have to go to the National Film Archives in Pune and look at a film of that time, and you're immediately transported to that particular time and place. I mean, this is something that this man did, which was so extraordinary, and singly, because I know that how difficult it was for him to put together this collection with hardly any help. And he would travel around in places like in Bombay, he would go to the Chor Bazaar and various other places to find little bits of film from people who would otherwise make them into bangles, the celluloid. You know, this kind of work he put together, and this whole jigsaw puzzle, you know, from which he would put together films. Now, he did all of this, and it's because of his work that we can start to see fragments of Dadasaheb Phalke's film, and all the way up to now. Because, you know, the work he did was just extraordinary, because I know that, you know, when I was my own films, which were lying in my office, because that was the only place I could keep them for a long time. And when I told Nair once, I said, look, I've got to have somebody who keeps these films. Will you be taking them? He said, I have one of each one of your films. So I said, but then what am I going to do with the ones that I have? He said, you send it to me. So I sent it all to him, and then it's there in Pune with him, you know. And I've never, when it came to film, nothing was too much. He would accept anything that you offered to him. And I think the very few people like him, of course, I can count them on my fingers, 2 fingers. Ari Langlois, P.K. Nair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shyam Babu. Can I request Vinod no, sir will speak later, but first you. Yeah. नहीं, पहले आप, हाँ. To speak a few lines. Okay. You want to read?